Hello everyone, my name is Deja Smith and today's vlog will be on Hidden Intellectualism by Graf. I believe that Graf did an excellent job at explaining why those who tend to be street smart aren't a waste in our society and that teachers should help them channel their own interests and abilities into good academic work. So the audience will probably be educators or people who are in the educational system, government. So I feel that it would be kind of hard for teachers to actually cater to each and every student. However, there are ways that teachers can include everyone into an assignment or include everyone into a certain text, like just by finding something that a lot of people are talking about in the news or whatever for our age. So for something right now, we'll probably think about anything like dealing with maybe like football or fashion, like sports, general things like that. And Graf even says that that is a great starting point for teachers to just start off with something that interests students first and then turn that into allowing them to read more things that are intellectual. Graf adding his own anecdote to the text was great to me for many different reasons, and the first being that it made it more relatable and persuasive on his claims of hidden intellectualism. It gave us more so of a story to look at and also just to like correlate with his message. It really made me think about the fact that although society is changing a lot, there are a lot of different aspects that we have not let go of from our society. Graf stated how there was just like a separating class of like the hoods and the book smart, and to the hood people you didn't want to look book smart because you wouldn't be accepted. But at that time, people wanted to be accepted by the hoods. They didn't want to be a nerd. Like, they didn't want to be bashed by the hoods. They wanted to feel a part of, something that they thought was cool. And I think that is very prevalent in our society today. I can definitely attest to this being something that took place at my high school, how people didn't want to look smart. Like, they did not want to be smart, but they didn't want people to just like notice them as being, like the smart kid or like the nerd. Graf even goes on to say how he learned how to argue and form sentences even by arguing about toughness in sports and any other things that him and his friends socialized about, not from school directly. What I found most interesting about the text is how Graf stated that the sports world was more intellectual than school, not less, because it was still full of arguments, debates, and different statistics that was different from the school world. He stated that, like in the sports world, there was a different thirst for intellectualism. And I can relate this to a hairdresser. Although they didn't continue out with school, they still had a trade, which was hair, or even a nail tech. They still go to school for something. They still are learning, but there's a different interest. There's a different basis of interest. There's a different thirst for intellectualism on a different subject rather than just school, because hair and nails is an art, and it definitely is not. One important note that we can take away from this is the fact that Graf was considered to be street smart, and he still turned out to be successful. He became an English teacher, which I'm sure he had to have a lot of intellectualism for that. So we shouldn't shun people based off upon if they are street smart or if they're book smart, because they still are capable of comprehending and learning maybe the same thing just in a different way, or just going through a different route. So if schools don't like cater to both street smart and book smart people, then they are just missing out on a group that could be possibly very important, and it's kind of just unfair. We still need those trades like firefighters, police officers, hairdressers, etc. So I think that teachers should, try to include the interest of those who are street smart into learning, just so that everyone feels like they have a place and that they're not left out. Like, that school isn't just for those who are intellectual or very smart. Not to say that street smart people aren't intellectual, but as we think about intellectual, we only think about book smart, which is the problem that Graph is trying to explain. Those who are street smart can still be intellectual, and we should cater to their needs too.